Welcome back to the eSports Report, guys. You thought I was serious saying Envy's going to beat Complexity. Here's my bracket. I filled it out before the show. Don't show my friends yet. Show my bracket. There it is. Complexity moves on here. But even if Envy did take that upset, I might not have him coming through that loser bracket right there. You see that? All right, we'll get to that in a minute. But first, Optic Gaming going up against Optic Nation. I got my friends Kingdom and Benson on the line. Kingdom Soldier, start us off with this Optic versus Optic matchup. The dream matchup for a lot of fans. We just saw it at the Optic LAN. Coming into the tournament, who has the stronger lineup in your opinion, and how do these two teams face off?
Optic Gaming has a stronger lineup in my opinion. They face off. I think it's going to be very close. I do think that Optic Gaming is going to take it. And, this Nation team, it's almost like if you replaced Imbos with Parasite, nothing against Imbos. I think he should have stayed on Optic Gaming and they would be successful. But if you replaced Imbos with Parasite, I might pick them over Optic Gaming. However, with the addition of Proofy to Optic and with Imbos playing with Killer, Ricky, and Miracles, I see Optic taking it. And we've all said it. You said it, Puckett. You said it in the past when I was on here before, that it's like a ticking time bomb, that Nation team. And if they can hold it together, they'll at least get a good amount of pro points in this tournament, which they really don't need. But I don't think they beat Optic Gaming, and I think that this is the match that is going to hit their composure. I think they're going to get kind of like maybe stomped on a little bit, and it's gonna cause some unhappy faces on that roster. Maybe now, some arguments.
Looking at the pro points alone, this is just telling you what these guys have done at recent MLG tournaments, tournaments at other places as well, and of course the online factor. Optic Nation is number 2, the only team behind Complexity at the top. 126 is their number, 126,000. Optic Gaming just 91,000. So Optic Nation has been more successful in the MLG online scene and including recent tournaments back for Call of Duty Ghosts. But Benson, talk to me about these players and who you think is going to do better after watching them compete live in Chicago.
It's going to be tough for Nation, that's 100% sure. Killer is definitely my player to watch out for, though. I don't know, he just seems to be in a good place in his this sounds corny, but he just seems to be in a good place in his life right now where he recognizes the opportunity he has being a part of the Green Wall, and he recognizes as well that he just wants to win a championship. He doesn't have to worry like a lot of these teams about X Games, neither do any of Nation. So I would say he's going to be my standout player. Now, going back to Optic LAN, the first best of 11 we saw went all the way to a game 11 Search and Destroy, and it was very close. Gaming just managed to come out on top. Then when they started scrimming again the next day, they were playing Domination, and Optic Gaming were just streaks ahead. Nation just couldn't seem to keep up. Then on the last day, Nation, they went off and scrimmed by themselves because Gaming had the league games to do, and they were getting themselves pumped up. So at first, I look at that and I think, yeah, Gaming going to take that pretty comfortably. But then I'm thinking, well, that may not necessarily be the case. I think it could go down to a game 5, in which case I think every Optic fan is going to be hiding behind the sofa. I think it could be very, very close. And if it goes to game 5, normally I would say Nation should take the Search and Destroy. Full of S&D talent, as you would expect. Embos, Ricky, Killer, Miracles, all of them can go off at S&D. I mean, some of the plays that we've seen each one of those guys make in Search and Destroy over the last couple of years has been huge. But then there's something about Gaming, the way they refuse to lose. Look back at COD Champs, Optic versus Complexity, when it went down to the last round in S&D. Nadeshot made the call, 4-man rush straight down the middle of Freight, and it worked. They have those plays, whereas I know Nation are more kind of traditional. They're still trying to work out their S&D strats right now. So I would say Gaming should take it 3-2.
Gaming takes it 3-2. Okay, so Benson's going to game 5. Kingdom, how far does it get in your mind?
Game 5, Optic Gaming takes it 6-4 in the last search.
6-4. Wow.
I like it.
See, Optic Nation is where I give the advantage in S&D, but I don't think it gets to that game 5 S&D. I think Optic Gaming takes it in 4. They'll finish it out with a surprise domination win on game 4. Probably a second side comeback led by Scump and Clayster again, because if you watch Scumpy go down 21 points in any domination, just expect a 40 bomb. He's going to drop a 40 in that game. Scumpy, I don't know why I love your stats so much this week. Every time I go through the numbers on COD eSports.tv, I'm just like, what is this kid doing? So Optic Gaming, all three of us agree. This was another tough pick for me, just as hard as the FaZe Red Envy and TK FaZe Black picks. But I have Optic Gaming going through, and that would set up a Complexity Optic matchup again. And it'll be the first time we've seen it since the Call of Duty Championship, where they went all the way to Game 5. Complexity was able to take it. Then, guys, after looking at how these two teams stack up, the Dynasty versus Optic now with Proofy. Is this Optic Gaming a stronger team? Can they overtake Complexity here in the winners final? Kingdom, you can go first.
Well, I said yes on my bracket, and I'm going to say yes right now. I think that this team with Proofy is better, and if they get it together, you know, kind of like Benson was saying, they got better after the first day. They're gonna run through some of these other teams. When they go up against Nation, it's gonna put them in a position where I think they may have more of a battle on their hands than Complexity has with Envy. And this is gonna be one of those times when Complexity goes down. They don't get the Game 5 this time, and I think Optic is gonna take it. It's gonna be one of the best matches we've ever seen. After watching, I mean, Optic and Nation, and then Envy and Complexity. I mean, for the winners bracket semis is amazing, you know. So to watch a winners bracket final with Optic versus Complexity is just the next best thing. And I think this time, I think they actually take it. I think they maintain their consistency. And if Scump plays like Scump and Proofy plays like Proofy did on LAN at COD Champs, they're going to end up outslaying Crim6 and Karma. So, and Aches, because Aches seems to be outslaying Karma recently. So they're going to outslay Crim6 and Aches, and I think they take the match.
Do you guys remember what happened to Optic Gaming last UMG? Have people forgotten that? I know they've had a lot of success recently, but it wasn't so easy for Optic just a few months ago. And that's something that I think a lot of people forget about here in the Call of Duty scene. However, judging off the recent success, I think Optic's going to look strong, but not strong enough. Benson, I got Cole going through, continuing that dynasty, and another finals appearance guaranteed here in Philly. You have Cole moving on as well?
I do. I think it's going to be kind of flashbacks from Champs, Optic versus Complexity, where this is the thing. Optic know they can beat. They should have beat rather Complexity Champs. Now replacing Embos with Proofy, they definitely look a lot better. But something about Complexity, if Aches is saying how he doesn't want to lose that record, you know he's going to do anything in his power to hold on to that. Anything in his power. However, you know, with them not playing, when you told me that, the first thing I looked at was my bracket, and I was kind of like, well, is that going to change things? I was tempted to change it and put Optic Gaming taking down Complexity, but I'm going to stick with my thoughts, which are just Complexity. When they get into the groove of things, they really do get into the groove of things. And this is where you're going to see teamwork potentially outshine individual skill. And that's going to be the factor. This Complexity team has been together now for a very long time. Optic Gaming is still relatively new. Don't get me wrong, full of fantastic players, but fantastic individuals versus teamwork wins every time.
I like it. So all three of us calling Complexity to advance to the grand finals.
Kingdom said gaming.
Oh, sorry, Kingdom. Totally wrong there. Sorry, I was listening to the producer. So you got the gaming crew moving on. Benson and I are going with Cole. Optic Gaming. I think this is their best opportunity to beat Cole. I think this is their time. Can they do it in Canada? Can they do it on foreign soil? A lot of questions here. If they get that win over Optic Nation, I also think that's going to be a huge momentum boost, where if Complexity even struggles with it, Envy, I think that's kind of something that might get into their mindset, might worry them a little bit. So if they're going to do it, I think now's the time. I can't change my predictions at this point, guys. So it's going to be interesting. Guys, tweet us your answers. Who do you think will be in that winner's bracket finals? Do we have the bracket right? Do you have a better bracket? Let us know. Let's show them the bracket one more time from start to finish here in the winner's bracket before we kick it over to the loser's bracket conversation. You can find it. There it is. All right, Complexity, strictly business matching up in round 2. Cole moves on to not only beat Envy, but Optic Gaming, according to Benson and I. On the other side, you got FaZe Red playing against Envy. They fall short. Team Caliber and Optic Gaming Curse Orange, Optic Nation. Optic Nation, Optic Gaming. It goes in favor of Optic Gaming, and Optic Gaming beats Complexity according to Kingdom Soldier. So some interesting picks. Now, we're not done here yet, guys. I had each of you list out your top 8 because we're awarding, of course, prize money to top 6. It's going to be $10,000 to first, $4,000 to second, $3,000 to third, $2,000 to fourth, and the 2 fifth-place teams, because there's 2 teams going out there in that same round, will take home $1,000. Let's take a look at our losers bracket, starting with yours, Benson, here in the Excel sheet, Will. We got no major upsets early on, except for this one, Curse Black and Team Caliber. You have faith in the Curse Boys here. What made you pick Curse Black over TK in this matchup?
That just comes down to the fact that I know what they're like when the backs are against the wall. They're a team that when you put their backs against the wall, they are going to go clutch and clutch and clutch. And then that's, again, if TK do go down to losers bracket against Optic Gaming, I think that's them done. That's when you're going to hear, oh, you know, communication needs to be better. They're going to start bickering. And realistically, I think that may actually be quite an easy game for Curse Black. If that is the scenario. If that isn't the scenario, TK still have their heads held high, which I would expect. I think it would be a close game. But as I said, when Tipsy's back's against the wall, I expect big things from him. Now, in your round 2, you have Curse versus Curse, and you have Orange coming out of this one. Why do you think Orange is stronger than Black coming into this tournament? Just look at recent games. Curse Orange have yet to lose to Curse Black online, and I expect that's going to play in the minds a little bit of Curse Black, sitting there knowing that they have never beaten the people they're playing opposite. Just something in my mind. That was my thought process when I was thinking about it, and I think at this point, Miyagi and Attach are going to be going off, so I think they're going to be very, very hard to contain. Now, FaZe Red, FaZe Black, is that even a close one, or does FaZe Red cruise to victory here? 3-0. 3-0. FaZe Red, yeah. And Strictly Business, Vex. Now, this, we talked about Vex, Curse Orange might be a close matchup. SB take this easily? Yep. Okay. I would say. All right, and then in the end, you have Envy facing off against Optic Nation for a spot in the top 3. How does Envy win this, and what's the series? So this is where Envy needs to step up in the slaying department, and they're going to be thinking, all right, you know, COD champs, we played well. We now have Parasite. For Nation, this is going to be very, very tricky, I feel. And I think it's going to be similar to, obviously, Nation versus Optic Gaming. I just don't think Nation are going to be able to keep up in terms of the slaying. And I would probably say that's going to go 3-1 in favor of Team Envious. And then in the semi-final, the losers bracket final here in the tournament, Envy, Optic Gaming matching up again. Another story of the Call of Duty Championships. This time, Parasite is swapped in, and you have a different story as Optic is going to win that matchup. Talk me through it. I just think it's going to be, again, kind of Optic going to be sat there thinking, all right, this is arguably their biggest rival in COD eSports. Like, Envy Optic has always been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I think Optic going to sit there and be like, all right, Envy outplayed us at champs, which is words out of their mouth, not mine. And I think they're going to be like, all right, time to outplay them back. And I think they're really going to play very, very well against Team Envious, and that should put them in the grand final. I like it. Kingdom, I don't think you had an opportunity to go through the losers bracket, but looking at mine here, let me know if you disagree with any of these statements. So I have Curse Orange moving on, but not Curse Black. I think TK actually beats Curse Black in this one. Yeah. Ben, I wouldn't be surprised if you're right, if Curse Black gets the quote-unquote upset over TK with their pickup. However, if TK does get by Black, I also have them getting past Orange. So I'm a little bit high on TK this week, and I actually think they're going to finish in the top 6. They'll get a 5th place finish here, earn some serious pro points as well as some prize money. On the bottom side of the bracket, FaZe Red, FaZe Black. FaZe Red moves on. And my upset is Vex versus Strictly Business. 10 versus 8. I think Vex somehow pulls this one off. Huddle has a big series. Slack goes off. I think these guys can take out Strictly Business, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see. Huddle and Slack facing off against Spacely, the former teammates battling there, and Vex losing to FaZe Red before Optic Nation falls to FaZe Red. So a little bit surprising here. Kingdom, if my bracket plays out the way I have it sorted here, do you think Optic Nation beats FaZe Red here in that matchup?
Yeah, I have Optic Nation winning against FaZe Red, winning that matchup, and I think that, like I said earlier, FaZe Red really fell short. As they've taken a hit in the search area, and this Optic Nation team, I mean, Killa's been grinding Search and Destroy and GBs, and so I think that all of that grinding that he did taught him some things that we haven't even seen yet, and we're gonna get to see it. Only stuff that we'd see on his stream. We're gonna get to see some of that come out in this match, and it's gonna put them up in the position of facing up against Indy.
Man, I think Killa, like, maybe a lot of people felt the same way I did, but I did not know he has the game knowledge that he does. When I listened to him doing the commentary at the Optic LAN, I was just like, I need to get this guy on camera as soon as possible. He's a genius. He knows exactly what all 8 players are doing by only watching one player's screen. So, Killa, look for him to bring that S&D game. Ben, what's the chances my FaZe Red prediction's correct? I got him moving into the top 4.
No.
None? No chance.
You're delusional. No.
I just want
you've been celebrating my birthday too soon, my friend.
I want you to say it now live on this web so I can go back and just cut this VOD and put unicorns and birthday candles all over it. I'll send you a GIF. All right, well, in the end, I have Envy finishing number 2 underneath Complexity. They beat Optic again after Optic's loss to Cole. Don't know if that's going to happen. It was really tough for me to fill this part out of the bracket this morning before going live. But I think Envy, they've got it. I think Parasite is going to be kind of a difference maker for Slaying. But again, it's going to come down to Nameless's gameplay in this tournament. They fall short to Complexity. And then Kingdom, you had Optic Gaming winning. That means Complexity would go to the lower bracket. Do they make it to the final?
Oh, yeah. They beat Envy. They go to the final. And what I said would happen at Champs that did not happen. It was so close, but I said that Complexity would go to the losers bracket and then go back and play Optic for the final and win. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Complexity is going to be Complexity. Everybody's going to be like, oh, Optic's going to win. And Complexity is going to just come back and they're going to win.
I like it. So you got Cole number 1. You got Optic number 2, but they win the winners bracket. And you got Envy at number 3. Fourth place team was Optic Nation. Benson, I believe you have the exact same top 4, correct?
Yep, the exact same.
Top 4. Mine, a little bit weird. I put FaZe Red over Optic Nation. Optic Nation and Team Caliber coming in 5th. I'm freaking crazy, guys. Look at this. Team Caliber, Optic Nation, FaZe Red. Curse Orange and Vex break into my top 8. Benson, you got Strictly Business. Curse Black breaking into the top 8.
Yep.
Whew. That's a lot of brackets for the day, guys, and we are done with this show. The UMG tournament kicks off live in 3 minutes right here on MLG.TV. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to go follow my co-host at Benson_EU, at Kingdom Soldier. Is there underscore in between Kingdom and Soldier?
There is.
There is. Yeah, put that in there. Make it work. Real nice. Guys, thank you so much for coming on the ESR. Benson, let me know what bar you're headed to so I can buy you a beer via my credit card. And Kingdom, we'll be seeing you soon. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy your weekend. Do nothing but watch Call of Duty. UGC Niagara live, 5 o'clock to midnight, 10 a.m. to midnight on Saturday and Sunday. I'm Chris Puckett. We'll see you Monday right here live on the eSports Report at 4 p.m. Eastern.